everybody. Hey, Steve here, coming to you from Champions Ride with Troop Bus. Having our first little face-to-face conversation and opportunity to say hi to everybody. I know we have done several videos we just started in the past where I was doing behind the scenes and behind the camera. Today I have a great opportunity here to ride along for a large amount of hours. So I figured I'd take this time and have a little chat with everybody and explain a little more about our goal and opportunity, what we're trying to do here on this YouTube channel. I just left Columbia, Missouri, and just put the University of Florida baseball team on their flights back to Gainesville, Florida. So they're flying charter. And joking around with players, I said, "You guys are going to be back in Gainesville, Florida before I get to St. Louis," which is about pretty much true. But I've got 1,100 miles ahead of me, and I know you're probably looking, my gosh, why are you doing that far riding from Missouri back to Gainesville? But again, that's what I want to explain about behind the scenes of moving around sports teams from point A to point B. Particularly like college sports and college baseball, they carry a lot of equipment. When you're flying charter, sometimes the type of aircraft they have, they can only carry X amount of pounds of players and equipment. So again, this trip and last week I was in Starkville, Mississippi, drove from Gainesville. They load the bus up, put all the equipment on they can, travel bags, etc., and off I go to meet them at the destination. So last week I left Gainesville, drove to Starkville, Mississippi for the weekend series against Mississippi State. Post game, out to the airport, put them on a plane and back to Gainesville the next day. So again, last Tuesday, after their home game, drove over to stadium, and the equipment manager and their assistants loaded me up with all the equipment. Headed out about 10:30 at night. My plan, and again, it was up to me pretty much where I want to go, where I want to stay at. But the most important thing is I got to be at the airport at a designated time when they get in there. So, I got to do a lot of little figuring out the timing, how many miles, how far I go in a day, because we are regulated like all the drivers with the federal DOT, 10 hours driving, 15 hours in a day, laws. So I got to fit all that in and do the figuring and do the math and the mileage and how long it takes. So last Tuesday night, I left about 10:30 at night. We drove out throughout the whole night. And fortunately, we don't do much overnight driving. I hadn't done that in a while. I've been here 23 years with Champion Coach, a senior driver. I've been here basically since they started. And I've been driving motor coaches for about 36 years. I've done my share of driving overnight. I don't like it anymore unless I have to do it. Because again, you got to make yourself sleep during the day. Your body cycle gets all out of whack a little bit. And again, I got to do it going back this time, but this will be kind of a partial overnight, not really a full night. So last Tuesday I drove from 10:30 from Gainesville, drove up through Atlanta, through Nashville, and got into Clarksville, Tennessee. About 9 hours later, got my hours off of rest. Got up, drove another 7 hours. I think about almost 8 hours to Columbia, Missouri. Got in about 1 a.m. and the team got into Columbia, Missouri the next day about 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So I had all morning off. And again, there's no room for getting lost out here. I know you think, how do you get around point A to point B? What I do, and I think most of our drivers, what our company is, we go out and do a pre-trip. So what we do is I always make sure I get there early enough to where I can do my route from the hotel to the ballpark, airport to the hotel, going back to the airport. The only time I may not do it if I've been, to a place so many times I just know it in the back of my hand. But this is my first time out here in Columbia, Missouri, so I had to really learn everything. It's pretty easy. But again, it's pretty embarrassing to get lost with a team. It can happen. But I speak for myself, and I know I speak for many drivers. I don't want it to happen. So I take all the time and go out here and do the pre-trip so that when I do pick the team up, you nail it perfectly and have no problems unless there's some kind of accident on the road or some kind of detour you weren't planning for. and it does happen occasionally. And again, one of the perks of this one trip here I have coming up to the University of Missouri is there's 14 teams in the Southeastern Conference. So now I've been to all 14 universities of the SEC, and I worked about 10 years with North Carolina State baseball over in the ACC conference. Again, a great organization of working with NC State. So I've been to just about all the universities, the ACC, except for Notre Dame and Syracuse. So those are elusive schools I got to get to. And it's always fun to get out of these campuses, walk around, explore, prior to the game. Because we always get there, and you always hear about athletes. They are a creature of habit, and Lord knows they are exactly as what it is, a creature of habits. I can pretty much tell you what all the major league teams are going to do day to day, about what time they're going to leave, depending on what time the game is, what time their batting practice is, what time fielding practice is. Everything leads up to game time, and then usually it's either 45 minutes or 1 hour. This is for pro teams now. After the game, back in the bus to the hotel or to the airport. Colleges, pretty much a little quicker. They get right back on the bus in about 15-20 minutes, head to the hotel, and they'll change there at the hotel. So University of Florida, I've been, like I said, my second year with them. Great bunch of guys to work with, and it's always good. The more you work with a team, they know you, you know them, you know the routine, you know what they want, you know what they expect, they know what they expect out of us. Again, myself being a big hockey fan, I've had the pleasure of working with the Gainesville Swamp Rabbits of the East Coast Hockey League this year, all the way from training camp all the way to their run through the playoffs. Just a great bunch of guys to work with. Hockey players are a unique breed, just top notch from the coach staff on down. So I had the fun and pleasure of, did I think 1 or 2 videos to show you what it was like on the road with a hockey team. Also show you some videos here of being at the SEC basketball tournament, what it's like behind the scenes at the arena leading up to these basketball games. And probably when I get done here with college baseball, I'll pick up and do a little bit of Major League Baseball, and lead into the summer, and hopefully have a little bit of a summer off. Since about February, I've been pretty much full-time on the road here, except for a few days here and there on the road here, as an entertainer coach. And again, that's a whole different world out here in the entertainer world, driving buses, the entertainers and crew and all that. Give me the headlights here and let me over. Thank you, dear brother. Be safe wherever you're going and whoever you got. But every team, from the pros on down to college, they have a coordinator, a travel secretary, they call them in pro baseball, operations director, they call in college. They're the ones that are responsible for making the hotel arrangements, airline reservations, the buses, the drivers, dealing with everything on the road, making sure all the jigsaw puzzles work. Again, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that goes on that everybody, when you're home, even myself, I can be guilty of it when I sit and watch a game, flip on TV, and there they are. But there's an awful lot to it to make that happen. And that's been the goal of my channel here, to kind of show you along the way as we go, through Major League Baseball season, college baseball season, pro hockey, and etc. One thing I was amazed that I've learned, through all the years doing this, is how much infrastructure and personnel is involved besides the players and staff. All the vendors, food vendors, people who work in these suites, staff for each team for the pro baseball, say the staff. Everybody has an integral part to make it work. And without somebody doing their job, things just don't go right as they should be. Beautiful kind of sunset going down here. We've had kind of storms off and on today. I'm glad it's not really raining any storms now. They blew through here earlier on the way through the eastern part of Missouri and St. Louis. So it looks like we're going to have a nice sunset. And that's one of the perks of this job. I always have felt I've been blessed with. See some of the beautiful sunsets. Sunrises, I'm not particularly always fond about seeing sunrises, because that means I've been up either all night or had to get up early in the morning for a trip. Sunsets are always nice. And as you can see, it's right behind me over my shoulder, westbound on I-70. So right now, about 90 miles from St. Louis. Take a little rest stop here, get a little coffee break, get something to go. I've got a sandwich here, a little box sandwich for the team. One thing we're very lucky about college teams, they feed us most of the meals. We're part of the team, and so I don't have to stop here, going on down the road. My goal tonight is knocking out miles. I'm probably estimating getting in about 2 a.m. to Nashville. Take my 8-9 hours off, and again, kind of judge what time I'm going to leave as to what time I go through Atlanta. But again, I'd rather sit at a hotel resting than sit bumper to bumper for an hour and a half going through Atlanta, which you often can if you hit it at the wrong time, 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'll get into Gainesville tomorrow night about 10 o'clock, maybe 11 o'clock. Overnight in the hotel in Gainesville, and then I'm going to meet the equipment manager from Florida baseball about 11 o'clock, unload all their equipment. And they got a game tomorrow against Florida State, Tuesday that is. And then my next day with them is going to be next Sunday as we head out to Hoover, Alabama. And we're going to be doing a SEC baseball tournament, which we'll be playing part of. Hopefully have a good run through the tournament, and then start waiting for the announcements for the 64 teams going to the NCAA tournament starting the first week of June. And we'll see where we'll be going. Passing Love's truck stop here. That's one of my favorites where I always go. My point of choice for fueling. Stop to get a coffee or something. Get out and stretch. So just enjoying our ride here through central eastern part of St. Louis. As some people say, going through the state of misery. Missouri. So again, I appreciate everybody watching my channel. Please hit the like button and subscription. Again, comments, I'll look at them and answer any kind of questions, and we'll come back again with some more video behind the scenes. And again, I just wanted to meet everybody face to face. I know you've been seeing the videos and wondering who that person was, and here I am. And again, I appreciate it. Everybody be safe out here, and we'll see you down the road. Adios.